Hi. So I'm going to continue the series on fear and talk about emotions. When it comes to fear, I've been talking about fear from a couple angles. One, the fears that we use to hold ourselves back, the fear of succeeding. And somebody wrote a great comment on my last video, and that was, they really liked it, but they also, pointed out that sometimes the biggest mountains we need to climb are internal, and so true, and that's why I want to discuss emotions. So yes, sometimes we use external things like I had brought up hiking a mountain that I wasn't able to hike last summer, a mountain I've done so many times and it was easy, but now as an amputee, not so easy. And seeing that as one of my hurdles to work on and get to the top. But with that said, it also relates to internal, because the things that we strive to push ourselves to do externally help build confidence internally, and absolutely ties into our emotional fears. And so I don't think that's completely separated. It certainly is a reflection of how we feel internally, and I know the things I've conquered externally have helped me become more confident as a person, and certainly reach the tops of mountains I didn't think I could get to, and I have more mountains to climb for sure, metaphorically speaking. But emotionally, we definitely have mountains to climb internally, and emotions in our society are really interesting. We all have them. If you're ever around a toddler or, a little kid under 5, their emotions are really raw and they don't hold back. If they are feeling upset, they let you know. They are learning by 4 some of the social cues, but still when they get, overwhelmed, angry, impatient, they let you know. But then we're taught by our families and society and in school, right, how to regulate those emotions. But we're not really taught, depending on our family system and who you're around, we're not really taught how to manage those emotions. We're just taught, stop it or, shut it down. And some family systems more than others, certainly, like, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to get angry. You're not allowed to vent how you feel. You're not allowed to even express how you feel, even in an appropriate way where you say, hey, I'm really upset about this. That's not often allowed in some family systems. So then our emotions get distorted, and then we don't even know what we're feeling, and it comes out in all the wrong ways. And that's how we end up in adulthood. Many things like passive aggressiveness, not speaking your mind, depressed, anxious, stressed and overwhelmed, not knowing why, because so many people lost touch with how they're really feeling and what those feelings are attached to. And that's what happens when feelings are distorted and feelings aren't allowed. Again, from messages that are around you and maybe in your own, mind, which is you internalized, it's not okay for me to express how I feel. It's not safe to do so. I know for myself that I started college very detached. And so that was my journey of confronting emotion. I was raised in a way that expressing emotion really, at least for me, wasn't, and from my perspective, really allowed. So I just kind of, I definitely pushed everything down, and I hit adulthood, 18, and was in college, and I slowly started to spiral down, and I was very out of touch as to why, and I couldn't even begin to understand what I was feeling. So at some point, a couple years into college, I knew that I needed to go to counseling. I really didn't even know a whole lot about it, but I knew counseling was for me. And luckily, I didn't have this perspective that counseling was a negative or that something was wrong with me for going. I actually had a perspective that I really needed to be there. Whatever they have to offer, I think I need that. And I definitely owned that I was messed up. I knew I was messed up and needed help. And so I guess it was a tribute to, you know, the path that I needed to go on, and that was that counseling was going to be part of that path. But that's not the way for most people. And most people in our society, or many certainly, perceive a stigma to getting mental health services and getting help. And it's unfortunate because I think it keeps a lot of people from getting the help they need, the help to sort out their own emotions. And I just find counseling and mental health one of the healthiest things you can do. Of course, you need to find a therapist you can connect with and one that you feel can be a good teacher on your journey and mentor and guide. But it's one of the healthiest things you can do. It's like saying when you have an infection or pneumonia, like you're not going to go get antibiotics or go to the doctor. I mean, mental health and counseling is a way for us to get help, to look at ourselves, to have somebody else help reflect things back to us that we're not seeing because of our defenses and our blind spots, and help navigate through the sea of emotions that we carry or get distorted or get projected and detached and displaced. That's our guide, you know, like a counselor. And that's why I love the field that I'm in, because it helped me when I needed it the most, when I was in college, and helped me understand the decisions I was making, the feelings I was having, and why I was making certain decisions or not even thinking about the decisions I was making. And I was doing things and caught up in unhealthy relationships and blaming myself, and so many things happened during those years that I just felt it was almost like a tidal wave, and I really needed help to sort through all of that. And therefore, I'm promoting, of course, getting help to sort through your own feelings. That's why these videos, which are kind of a self-help model, but also to help promote that if you have a sea of emotions that you can't even begin to decipher, going for counseling really is a healthy choice, a healthy decision to affirm that your emotions are important. And I really hope that our society changes its perspective on mental health, and that eventually there just really is no stigma. And there's been a lot of talk in the media about, you know, more funding for mental health services. There's been more discussions about mental health, but it's just, it needs to change. And, you know, change takes time, but I'm very hopeful. And if I can be somebody that just continues to spread the word as well about how healthy it is to go get counseling and help when needed, I'll do that. I truly love what I do, because I do love helping people, and I just love helping people navigate their journey. And I've reached out for many mentors in my life, in my adult life, to help me navigate on my journey as well, and help me grow and become more enlightened and more empowered every step of the way. So today's focus was about emotion, and we've been talking about fears. And to navigate those fears, again, you need to understand your emotions. And at the beginning of this video, I talked about the internal mountain that you need to climb, we all need to climb, whether it's navigating through certain emotions that haven't been dealt with, or navigating through a trauma or stressors that really have just built and on each other until the mountain just seems like it's so high. When you're diagnosed with a health issue, again, there's a lot of things that get built internally, fears. And I kind of look at it as no mountain is too high. It may feel like Mount Everest sometimes, but it's my mountain. It's your mountain. Everyone's got some mountain to climb internally. And that's our challenge. We grow by taking those steps and even taking those rests along the way. So with today's video, hopefully you are a little more insightful about emotion and why I do the things I do, why I love promoting, helping people become more insightful about themselves, and then integrating that with wellness strategies like meditation. Thank you for joining me today for the video about emotion and climbing your internal mountains. I'm Denise Burke.